Okay everyone, so here is a guided 15-minute meditation practice as we straighten our backs and take a deep alerting breath in and out as we arrive at our practice with 3 considered breaths in, out, in, out, in, out. As we consider our breathing, but as we also consider that posture of ours and thinking about whether it is what we might call dignified, this word which is used quite frequently in mindfulness meditation, the idea of a dignified posture. And the idea that a dignified posture can support a conscious decision, a conscious intention to sit for the next 15 minutes, to sit and be, or at least try to be, in contact with our body as we breathe, our bodily sensations, but also our emotions as we breathe, and the feelings that those emotions generate, and our thoughts, tuning in, our intention to tune into our thoughts via this wonderful vehicle of our breath. So we breathe in and we breathe out. This intention just to be and to try. The idea that our posture as well, our dignified posture, can support an attitude of self-confidence. A self-confidence that's born out of a conviction, a knowledge that what we're now doing is not self-indulgent. It's not a touchy-feely, wishy-washy, mystical exercise. Or at least it's not for me. And I invite you to consider that it doesn't need to be for you either. Because we have hundreds of years of empirical evidence in the East, 2,500 years really, of the Buddhist tradition, suggesting that this kind of activity helps to support mental equilibrium. But for those of us with a cynical predisposition, know that the academic literature, particularly over the last 20 to 30 years, has really unpacked and unpicked this mindfulness construct. And we have begun much better to understand the mechanisms of mindfulness and why it works. And we've understood through the literature that it does work. We've had randomized clinical trials that prove that an 8-week mindfulness-based cognitive therapy program underpinned by deliberate, lengthy body scan meditations, along with some teaching and some training and some theory, of course, and home practice, reduces instances of depression relapse significantly, particularly for those people with 3 or more episodes in their history. And the neuroscientific literature is now pointing to concrete brain signals, brain behaviors. Brain imaging techniques are showing us that our brains change, patterns change, densities change in certain parts of our brain when we meditate. And after lengthy spells of meditation, there are brain changes, and those changes correlate with positive outcomes. And this is all very relevant because, of course, we are leading difficult lives sometimes. We seem to be constantly under attack, under challenge, under stress. Time is always seemingly so short. And counterintuitively, by creating some time just to be rather than to do, the empirical and scientific academic literature is that finding that time to be helps us maintain mental equilibrium and actually helps us to do as well, helps us to do better by being more. As we consider how our dignified posture might also suggest alertness, which links into this crucial axiom of mindfulness around awareness. Fundamentally, what we're trying to do in these meditations is to notice things. But remember to just notice things as they are. Mindfulness as a mirror. Just noticing things as they are, not as they should be, or as you want them to be, as you would like them to be, but just noticing things as they are, body sensations as they are, emotional feelings as they are, thoughts as they are, as we continue to breathe. Just noticing, tuning in as we take this idea of awareness into our body, as we really try now to tune in to the sensations in our body, starting perhaps at the tips of your toes and into the soles of your feet. Really tuning in to the sensations of the soles of your feet against the soles of your shoes, your boots, the ground on which your feet are resting, if indeed that's what they're doing. The sensation perhaps of the tightness of the shoes around your feet. What's going on there? What sensations are there? As we invite awareness up into our calves, our shins, into our knees, as we consider the signals that our body is sending to us if only we stop to notice. As we think about feelings in our thigh muscles, as these thigh muscles connect, of course, into our buttocks that are performing a job of work actually as we continue to breathe. If you're sat in some way, you will notice that almost inevitably there's some sensations in your buttocks because your buttocks are trying to hold your back at right angles to your thighs. Your buttocks are doing a lot of work in supporting your core. So it's natural, therefore, that you may feel tightness and tension in your buttocks. Perhaps some sensations in your pelvis more generally, into your lower back and up your spine, into your shoulder muscles, any sensations in those shoulder muscles, your shoulder blades, as you go into your shoulder muscles. And as I mention my shoulder muscles and my shoulder joints, I, almost despite myself, feel the need to roll my shoulders around as I consider the sensations through my biceps, my triceps, my forearms, into my fingers, as I consider the slightly tingly sensations that I seem to have in my fingers. But you may have different, very different sensations, or no sensations actually, and no sensations, remember, are fine. As I consider my neck, and simply by saying that I'm considering my neck, I feel the need to rotate and loosen my neck and my shoulders some more. And as I continue to breathe and tune in to what I've just done, I notice that there are residual sensations in my neck, through my neck, into my shoulders. I'm just tuning into the tone of those sensations. Not unpleasant actually, there's some relief in those sensations that I'm feeling actually, as I think about my jaw, which undoubtedly has been clenched quite hard this morning, as I loosen my jaw and consider my temples, as I now invite you to continue to breathe, always continue to breathe, but perhaps just really tune into our breath now. That invitation from the 3-minute breathing space that really encourages us to inquire about the process of our breath, where it's coming from, where it's going, what it's doing, how it's feeling. Inviting you to do that in silence for a few moments. Also giving you permission, if your mind wanders, which it inevitably will do, to bring your mind and your body back to the breath, this breath. Each and every breath as a significant event. Acknowledging that we only have so many breaths, so each one in many respects is really very precious. As we think about, and I invite you again to consider the transition out of this practice as we take our first exit breath in, out, in, out, in, out, as I invite you to open your eyes, if indeed you've had your eyes closed, and just to take in what's around you, in your immediate environment. Holding on perhaps to those feelings and sensations, just holding on to how that practice was for you. What feelings did it generate? How easy it was, or how difficult it was? Recognizing that you have permission to find it easy, difficult, or somewhere in between.